Security teams and developers already live inside AI tools. They use them to write code, analyze findings, and draft reports. But when they want to actually run a scan or pull vulnerabilities from their Pentest-Tools account, they usually stop, switch tools, and do it manually. The MCP connects your LLM client directly to your Pentest-Tools account, so you can run scans, manage targets, query findings, and generate reports, all in natural language from your favorite AI tool. My name is Iulian, I'm one of the engineers who built it. Let me show you how it works. All you need is an API key. MCP support among LLM clients is already very high, so your client most probably supports it. You just need to grab the right config for it. Go to the integrations page and navigate to the MCP section. You can click on Add to add the MCP config. Here you can choose a name and choose among a few clients. We have ready-made configs for some of the most popular ones: Claude Desktop, VS Code, and Gemini CLI. For this video, I'll be using VS Code. You will also have to generate an API key. You can do this by clicking on Generate to create the API key. Here you have to name the key and add an expiration date. Afterwards, you can copy and paste your key into your config. After you are finished, you can save your MCP setup, and then you can edit it or delete it just like you would do with any other integration. You also have a link to the documentation in order to read more about it. If you'd rather not send requests through our server, you can also run the MCP locally. It's open source, so you can install the package and host it yourself. Either way, you will need an API key. That doesn't change. On the hosted version, Pentest-Tools sees both the API calls and the MCP tool calls. Running locally, it's only API calls. Nothing else you share with your LLM is passed to us. Let's start with the most straightforward thing you can do: run a scan. There are 4 pen testing tools exposed through the MCP: Website Scanner, Network Scanner, Port Scanner, and Subdomain Finder. The Port Scanner runs as a parameter inside Network Scanner. Let's kick off with the web scan. A few things worth noticing here. The scan updates live, so you can follow progress in real time. You can see exactly which API call the LLM is making. If you're confident in your setup, you can also turn off those confirmation prompts entirely. With newer LLMs, you can go further, run it in an agent loop, and tell it to launch multiple scans. Alright, the scan is ready. We also support authenticated scans. Authenticated scanning is more complex on the parameter side, so you may need to be explicit in your prompt. You can see that the MCP figured out the parameters on its own. Almost everything you can do through the API is also available through the MCP. You can add and delete targets, create and delete workspaces, launch scans inside specific workspaces, and check your VPN profiles. The practical advantage here: if there are ever breaking changes in the API, you don't need to update your scripts. The LLM reads the tool spec in its entirety every time, so it always knows what's available. You can generate reports from inside the product, but the MCP makes it easier to get exactly what you need. You can tell the LLM what to focus on, filter by vulnerability type, or build a report from a specific subset of scans without touching the UI. The MCP also enables tools that go beyond what the API alone can do, because the LLM itself is part of the pipeline. We built a dedicated tool for report translation. It fetches the scans, sends the findings through the LLM for translation, and re-imports them as a new localized report inside the product. So we can see the report now. We can also download it. And you can see that the report is in German. One thing to be aware of. Because of API import limits, around 50 findings per hour, you should try smaller reports. A nice thing with MCPs is that you can combine multiple of them together, enhancing your workflow. If you have the linear MCP configured, you can combine it with the Pentest-Tools MCP and get your findings straight into linear tasks. That covers the main things you can do today. Run scans, manage your account, generate reports, translate findings, and if you're a developer, close the loop between writing code and securing it. The setup takes a few minutes. Head to the integrations page, grab your API key and pick the config for your client. Check the docs section for the full setup guide. If you want to share how you're using it, we'd like to hear from you. Links are in the description.